was still on.
And it's still on.
Then I woke up again and it was off.
Did you watch me sleep?
Hmm?
Did you watch me sleep?
Yeah, I actually did something to you while you were asleep too.
What?
I'm sorry. I just got this fetish that I do. You know.
What?
I didn't hurt you. You're good, right?
What'd you do, Corey?
Just don't worry about it.
Corey?
It's good.
Corey, what did you do?
Do nothing. Look, this came right in my face. I didn't do anything.
He did something, and I'm gonna find out on the next episode of
Dragon Ball Z, where you going with this?
I chaptered the video so you can skip if you want to get past this part, but there's a very important message before we even begin that I want you to hear because I know you're going to skip around this video. Just listen to this part and then we can talk about the rest of the video. This part plays at the end as well, so please just listen to this. Built them up like gods and expect them to bleed like saints. That's the paradox of being a content creator in the hellscape of algorithm. You're not allowed to mess up. You're a performer, a therapist, a mascot, a brand ambassador, and a trauma clown all rolled into one. You're expected to be vulnerable but not messy, relatable but not flawed, human but squeaky clean corporate. And the moment you slip up, just once, the crowd that love you for being real turns into a digital execution squad, ready to fire off think pieces, cancel threads, and 3-hour exposés with blurry screenshots and zero context. We hold content creators to standards we don't even hold our friends to. They're supposed to post regularly, reply lovingly, grow endlessly, stay humble, never change, always evolve, but not in any way that threatens the fantasy we build around them. One old tweet or one old situationship, career is over. One joke taken the wrong way, I always knew they were trash. One burnout, induced silence. They've changed. They don't care about us anymore. Oh my goodness. Oh my God. You can be 99% light and kindness. 99%, right? 99% light and kindness. And the internet will set fire to the 1% shadow like you're a war criminal who kicked a puppy on live stream. Because we don't see creators as people, we see them as mirrors. They're supposed to reflect back our values, our taste, our morality in perfect, unblemished HD. And when they don't, we smash the mirror, loudly, publicly, as if punishing somebody for failing to be perfect will somehow clean up the mess inside of us. The rage isn't about them. It's about us feeling betrayed by an illusion we willingly brought into, then reinforced with likes and parasocial affection until it bursts under the weight of our own expectations. And let's be honest, this doesn't come from justice, it comes from boredom, right? From a culture, right? A culture addicted to outrage like it's a digital cocaine. We don't just consume creators, we haunt them. We turn their missteps into entertainment. We clip, distort, edit, and re-upload their pain for views. We want redemption arcs without grace, accountability without process, perfection without pause. Because if a creator stumbles and we don't get to judge them immediately, then maybe, just maybe, we'll have to look at our own mess, and nobody wants that. So yeah, creators mess up, say dumb things, some make bad calls, some get exhausted and lash out. That doesn't make them villains. It makes them people, right? He's just a person. And maybe instead of sharpening knives, we give them what we all secretly crave when we screw up. Space to learn, a chance to grow, and the radical, terrifying act of being forgiven. That's right, video evidence of somebody with CoryXKenshin, and CoryXKenshin making some very off-color jokes about doing something that happened during the nighttime, things of that variety. Now, do I think that CoryXKenshin is obviously joking in this manner? I do think that CoryXKenshin is obviously joking as seen in the recording. I think that was an obvious joke. I think people are going to take that horrifically out of context, because I don't know the context of that 45-second clip. I really don't. I do feel like there is going to be a lot of people diving too deep into this when it comes to that 45-second clip with no substantiated proof. I feel like CoryXKenshin is known for making a bunch of off-color jokes. That happens quite often, as from what I've discovered about the small clips that I've seen of CoryXKenshin. But CoryXKenshin is primarily for younger audiences. A lot of people watch him because he plays a lot of kid-centric horror games, and his audience is of younger people, and more so the people that love to jump and cancel people. So I'm learning everything as it goes on, and I just got done reading 105 slides of the entire story. Now, later in the video, this video, we're going to go through all the slides, but I want to give my thoughts about the entire thing. I think CoryXKenshin was narcissistic and very dismissive towards this woman's feelings. I think that in some capacities, he is very abusive when it comes to emotional manipulation. I think that is the extent of what I can actually say CoryXKenshin did. Now, we do have screenshots of what he said in the Discord messages. Now, do we know it's CoryXKenshin? We can kind of deduce from the video we saw that they have contact, and this might be the only thing, but it's a very short forward thing exchange where everybody's saying this is the worst thing CoryXKenshin did. So I'm going to go through those right now. So this Panda Ninja, the person. So what's up? You still seeing someone? Cory says. Panda says, why do you ask? Because I'm trying to F up your life some more. What? That was a joke. Jeez, I was just asking. Never heard you curse before. That's why it threw me off. So this is a little bit off color. It's a little bit strange, a little bit off going. So this is very interesting. So this is very, very, very interesting. So yeah. So we have this, because I wanted you. Wanted me how? Like how I had you. Like in a relationship where it's something else, like something else. So this shows that it was a different non-relationship kind of thing. They weren't in a relationship. It was more body-wise. That's kind of messed up. I wasn't a toy. I know that. I wasn't just about to message you after a year and ask you to be my girlfriend. So this is a whole thing. This is a common manipulator tactic. Take it from me. I'm one of them. I'm not gonna lie to you guys here. I'm not gonna act like I'm holier than thou or somebody above you guys. I'm not gonna do that. That's not how I operate on this channel. That's never how I've operated. This is a very common tactic. It takes one to know one, and I know this manipulator tactic right here. Like, I mean, I'm not, you know, like something else, just playing around, playing with the issue when she obviously wants a deeper connection. She wants somebody that actually loves her. That's what she's looking for. So. But I guess I was just a good F for you. When you said relationship, I thought you meant I was going to ask you out. Nah, I mean you were, but that's not all you were. Anyway, doesn't matter. You're with someone. So, Cory's trying to slide in and use his past lore with this person in order to get back in them because he misses what they had or misses what she provided, which was her body. So he's using her for the body. Classic emotional manipulation we can see in these messages. So there's that. That's how it felt at the time. Even if I wasn't, I wouldn't have let you again. But when I did that with you, it's something I just don't do with anyone. You wouldn't have let me blink again? No, I wouldn't. So this is gonna just keep it a being with you. Very common manipulator tactic. I'm sure you've seen this before. So I'm glad I'm the same. I don't blink anyone. Double bummer. That's the difference between you and me. And I thought is that I don't do it with just anyone because I was blanked abused. I'm not saying that for you to feel bad or whatever, but for you to understand. I know you told me that. I didn't know I got lumped into the category with the person who did that because I was being used for that. But I guess when you told me how you felt was not real too. So this is a whole thing. We can see where I saw the video in the beginning of this video. So from those messages, we can kind of deduce and get the entire picture of Cory was saying, I don't think I abused you. It was consensual. I thought we were just there to be for each other's bodies, not relationship wise, but something more of a situationship, long distance, F buddies that didn't really have any deep commitment issues. We just kind of fooled around and did stuff, but not a true label with it. I don't want a real label on it. Now, there's a lot of guys like this. Keep it a being with you, keep it a stack. There's a lot of guys like this. This is just kind of CoryXKenshin not being above all those people. I've seen people say CoryXKenshin attacked during her sleep, all this other stuff. There's no evidence of that. There's no evidence. In the video we saw in the beginning, he's clearly joking. Just gonna keep it a bean about things of that variety. There's genuinely no evidence at all. But I've seen people go hell in high water saying, I knew he was one of the bad ones. He's the worst man ever exists. He's been exposed. This is from what I see. And I'm not saying to underplay this. I'm not trying to underplay because I'm not a CoryXKenshin fan. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not saying to underplay this. The worst I see is that he didn't SA anybody. He emotionally was abusive and manipulative. He was toxic. That's what I'm grasping so far. So he's like a Tyler Perry villain. He's Tyler Perry villain. He levels of bad. That's what I grasped so far. He didn't take this woman seriously, and the girl is now angry that CoryXKenshin did not take her seriously. So that's what I'm understanding right here. CoryXKenshin doesn't get into a lot of stuff, so that's why this is probably going to blow up a lot like crazy in his face. Now, you got all my thoughts. You know how I feel. I think CoryXKenshin is manipulative and toxic towards women. Boom. We got that out the way. We've never seen him with anybody in that variety. We haven't seen him revealed in his relationship. Very parasocial of us to deep dive and assume his character based off of gaming videos that are highly edited. Just gonna keep it a stack with you. Very hard to do that. He's not a YouTuber that talks about his personal life that deeply or in-depthly. We literally just get him through video game clips. So that is what we have so far. So now here comes the long part. You can click off now if you just want the lore breakdown and you just want the messages. You can click off right now. I'm not gonna fault you for leaving right here. I titled the video for you to make it easier because I know a lot of you are not going to be around for this. This is the long part. I'm going to go through the entire thing, all of it, every single schmeckle of it, every single kashmorgity of it, to give you a full picture of what we are dealing with here, so we can see what's happening. So she does this entire long series of things. This is gonna be psychotic here. Now we can see Panda Ninja right here. Boom, this is her right here. And we can see her with Cory. We saw that. Boom, this video is gonna blow up like crazy later. Now, so she started off with this right here. Cool. Boom, she dated CoryXKenshin. And he hurt me really bad. Emotionally. Just get this out of the way. Emotionally. So he's probably done this to other women as well. So that's what we're grasping here too. So, I'm going to go through all these. I don't want you to do this, but I'll use my silence with no clean way to start. Oh my goodness, this is so long. Clean way to start, just to feel weight on my chest, and the world kept applauding someone who never showed up for me. I was never part of the world publicly. You made sure I stayed close just far enough to be invisible. Your followers eat up the whole man of faith image you push, but faith without basic decency isn't faith, it's branding. That's a bar. That's just a bar. Comments from now on this, not gonna lie to you. You talk about devotion, but act like hurting people in private doesn't count. That's not devotion, that's hypocrisy. You fooled a lot of people, but not me. This is more so about his image of God, how he talks about God and things of that variety. This is gonna sound crazy. Just hear me out, because I can't keep my thoughts to myself. In no capacity did I think I knew how Cory was as a person. I feel like if you just watch gaming videos of a content creator, you can't possibly know how they are as a person. Because he just does gaming videos and spooky, scary Sundays. He doesn't really do anything outside of that besides talking about God. And most Christians that I met aren't really the best people. That's just where I'm at. So I'm going to keep going. When I met you, I was at my lowest point in my life. I was still healing, still trying to remember how I love myself after going someone out. She kind of does this for a while. This is like her talking about how sad she is. I'm not gonna lie to you, it goes on for a long second, and she's very sad. Just know that she's very sad. I want to read every single bit of this, and this is just literally a dot. You ghosted me not because you were confused to me but to teach me a lesson. You made me feel like I had to shrink just to have a reply. Every move was calculated, even if I couldn't see it back then. So this is where she talks about how Cory ghosted her, how Cory didn't want anything to do with her, things of that variety. Happens a lot. In a lot of situationships, just ghosting, things of that variety, happens a crazy amount of times. This is a very common occurrence, but it doesn't excuse the behavior at all. It does not. You twisted there's something wrong with me, and when I sat alone replying every word, breaking myself apart just to get a thing, you're out there calling yourself a positive role model. So, in terms of the editing and stuff like that, he probably was. They'll never know how many nights I cried quietly. My pure trigger so wasn't that bad. Just to say you broke me. This is her being used in a situationship more so it seems as so it was. This is very vague too. This is very vague. That was your punishment. Silence, distance, despair, affection. The cold silent treatment was being given in that capacity. For my body, my heart, and my time, like you shelved them, like I only existed where you wanted to feel. You made sure your absence cut deeper than your presence ever comforted. Very narcissistic, very just, I'm pretty sure people that read this probably know, they probably had a partner like this and probably went back to him multiple times in that variety. The subtle jabs, and once I actually confronted it, I've never depended on anyone. I've worked hard my entire life and made my own money, but still you made me feel small for the job I had, like I was a disappointment. Never asked for your money, your platform, your help, any of it. Okay, cool, thank you for that, I appreciate that. So it's like a whole thing. She goes through this whole thing, and she goes through this for a while, and then she probably couldn't say this because she was probably gonna cry through it, and that's fair. She's probably really hurt by this. She cried. All this, it's like a whole, it's very long. I read through all this before. I just want to summarize this for you here. This is her explaining how she got emotionally abused and manipulated by a manipulative, toxic man. It's a very toxic situation in this thing right here. Now, I don't know Cory's side to this. I just know that this is very long. It only gets heavier. And she goes on with this for a while. If you want to read all this, it's on her TikTok. I will put the link in the top comment. It is just very long. And then she goes on to say like, oh, you're with another girl, all this other stuff. And I don't want to make this video, I don't want to waste your time. I really don't want to waste your time here. The main summary of everything. I thought I was going to go through everything, but I just can't read it all again. The main summary of everything is CoryXKenshin was seeing this girl. This girl fell in love with Cory. CoryXKenshin led her on astray, tried to get with her again, tried to use her for her body, and was manipulative and toxic in the entire situation. That's what we got so far. That's what we're understanding and grasping from this. This will be slop for the next few weeks. Not for me. I'm probably going to wait for Cory's response, get the final of it, make one more video about this. But this will be slop for the next few weeks for so many content channels because CoryXKenshin never gets canceled. So it's a strange situation. So I'm going to give my final take on everything. Just give me 1 second. Hold on. I don't think this will destroy Cory's brand at all. I think it will make people be aware that not to meet their heroes. I've been very upfront about how I am as a person, but not every content creator is like that. Mr. Beast may be a little bit manipulative. Moist Critical may be manipulative in some ways. And for most men, not all men, most, majority, like 51%, there is a standpoint of using people for the aspect of the needs of the bedroom. That's what happens. And CoryXKenshin is not above that. He's not a perfect human. I think he's held the position of a positive, perfect human for so long that people just attributed the traits of everything good. And usually when one thing bad happens with a big content creator, they think everything else is bad about the person. This does not take away all the hours you watching the content creator. This does not take that away. I want you to just hear me out. Please hear me out. I'm begging you. I'm not a CoryXKenshin fan. If you go through and check my YouTube, I'm going to go through my YouTube right now. I'm going to show you how many CoryXKenshin videos I have actually watched in my life. These are all the videos of CoryXKenshin that I have ever watched in my life. Here it goes. I have seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I didn't even watch these. I think I fell asleep with these. I have been scattered, but I have barely ever watched him. You can tell by the red bar. I've barely ever watched him. So I'm making this statement without watching him. If you go all the way to the past, if you go to his oldest video, I was not a longtime Cory fan. This is my only YouTube account. I have not watched him in the past. I have not watched anything about him. I have not seen anything from what he's done. I have not watched it. This does not take away from all the hours you spent. You built a parasocial relationship with somebody you did not know. You are now discovering that they are human, like you. They have flaws. Everybody messes up. I am not defending CoryXKenshin for toying this girl and messing with her heartstrings and making her feel like garbage, because that is horrifying and that's evil. But his whole being, his entire character, what he is not evil. He is not a holistically disgusting, vitriolic, nasty person. He had a situationship with this woman. It went south. He used her for her body, obviously. He wanted to get back using her for the body because he missed the feeling of comfort from a woman that he thought he could get back in her life again. That is abusive. That is emotionally manipulative. That is 100% a fact from what we see from those text messages. That is what we gather. We grasp that. I understand that. I get it. However, we all are not perfect people. We hold content creators to this unrealistic standard of perfection, deep perfection that they could never live up to, because you want them to be perfect in every single way. You want them to be a prim and proper doll of a human being. That's what you want. That's not going to happen. It never will, and it never can. And whenever you discover one bad thing, you think the whole house is destroyed. You have a mansion, you see one chip in the brick, and you decide to burn the whole house down. Don't do that. Wait for his response. Wait Wait and see the full context. I'm begging you to use your brain for a second. I made this video so I can at least mitigate a tiny bit of the damage because I know people are going to go crazy about it. I can feel it. Built them up like gods and expect them to bleed like saints. That's the paradox of being a content creator in the hellscape of algorithm. You're not allowed to mess up. You're a performer, a therapist, a mascot, a brand ambassador, and a trauma clown all rolled into one. You're expected to be vulnerable but not messy, relatable but not flawed, human but squeaky clean corporate. And the moment you slip up just once, the crowd that love you for being real turns into a digital execution squad, ready to fire off think pieces, cancel threads, and 3-hour exposés with blurry screenshots and zero context. We hold content creators to standards we don't even hold our friends to. They're supposed to post regularly, reply lovingly, grow endlessly, stay humble, never change, always evolve, but not in any way that threatens the fantasy we build around them. One old tweet or one old situationship, career is over. One joke taken the wrong way, I always knew they were trash. One burnout, induced silence. They've changed. They don't care about us anymore. Oh my goodness. Oh my God. You can be 99% light and kindness. 99%, right? 99% light and kindness. And the internet will set fire to the 1% shadow like you're a war criminal who kicked a puppy on live stream. Because we don't see creators as people, we see them as mirrors. They're supposed to reflect back our values, our taste, our morality in perfect, unblemished HD. And when they don't, we smash the mirror, loudly, publicly, as if punishing somebody for failing to be perfect will somehow clean up the mess inside of us. The rage isn't about them. It's about us feeling betrayed by an illusion we willingly brought into, then reinforced with likes and parasocial affection until it bursts under the weight of our own expectations. And let's be honest, this doesn't come from justice, it comes from boredom, right? From a culture, right? A culture addicted to outrage like it's a digital cocaine. We don't just consume creators, we haunt them. We turn their missteps into entertainment. We clip, distort, edit, and re-upload their pain for views. We want redemption arcs without grace, accountability without process, perfection without pause. Because if a creator stumbles and we don't get to judge them immediately, then maybe, just maybe, we'll have to look at our own mess, and nobody wants that. So yeah, creators mess up, say dumb things, some make bad calls, some get exhausted and lash out. That doesn't make them villains. It makes them people, right? He's just a person. And maybe instead of sharpening knives, we give them what we all secretly crave when we screw up. Space to learn, a chance to grow, and the radical, terrifying act of being forgiven. I don't know about Cory yet. I don't. But I'm not going to be up in arms yet. Because if we want real creators, we have to stop demanding they be machines. We have to stop doing that. Please. This is destroying me. It is. It really, really is. And I know you're probably not going to see this part, so I'm going to have to put this in the beginning. So, just please bear with me with this. Because it's draining me. Remember.
I'm your Nick at night, be my Laura, please, Lord. Happy to try what you need. Your world, I love to live in it. I love the ride when you're free.